So I've pulled up a couple of random lists I found online, and I'm more or less just gonna react to them. I realize now that all the lists are from Anna Lindwasser, whoever this is. So essentially, feels like I'm picking on her now, but it was really random. I don't know why it's all her lists. Maybe she's the only person that writes lists on whatever this Ranker site is. The site's ranker.com. So really, this is gonna be like my opinion versus her opinion, I guess. So it's important to remember that my opinion is correct and she is wrong sometimes, whereas I am never wrong. And for all I know, this is not even really her opinion. For all I know, this is a user voted thing and she just writes whatever script and strings them together. Anyway, this is 18 anime that are B tier but still worth watching. Oh, right off the bat, Black Bullet. Hard disagree. Black Bullet is fully skippable. C tier at best. It's about this guy and this girl and little lollies in this world can kill bug monsters, and you know that's kind of the plot, but the real plot is obviously she's all blushy around him and wants all his attention, and it's not that good. It's like 12-13 episodes and it's kind of a waste of time. It's little girls and silly outfits fighting monsters. That's not even that interesting. Less than C tier. Is this B tier? No. Gangsta is also less than B tier. Gangsta's possibly D tier. I feel like Gangsta didn't achieve nothing and maybe failed at everything. But people were like, oh look, isn't this guy cool? Isn't this guy cool? He's kind of like an angry dog. That's cool. But like, what happens at Gangsta? Nothing. Nothing happens at Gangsta. Let's also B tier, C tier, even possibly D tier. I'd say Gangsta's worse than fucking Black Bullet over here. Interviews of Monster Girl, obviously I haven't seen that. That could be anything. Could be anything. Is this the one? No, it's not the one where it's about pervy dudes trying to bone Monster Girls, right? Is it just something else? I don't know what that is. Hell Girl, haven't seen. Old show. Blood Plus is fine. Sure, I'll give it a B tier. Blood Plus is totally fine. It kind of slogs in certain parts, but it's overall fine. Maybe high C tier. B tier is fine. Whatever. Let's Donia, haven't seen. I think one of my friends likes it, but I've heard mostly negative stuff. It also looks like this, which is awful. Just awful. What is this? It's such a bad look. Are these chicks clones? Because they all look the same too. I'll assume they're clones because they're like the exact same person. Basilisk is C tier at best as well. Basilisk is also an anime where it feels like nothing really happening except for like dark sulkiness. Just people sulking all the time, or I don't know, feels like they're always sulking, or what's the word I'm looking for? Sad. Sad. I'll go sad. Pandora Hearts is also kind of fine, but nothing ever happened in Pandora Hearts. Like, it's just left with like ton of mystery in the end. It's 50 episodes and nothing's ever figured out, and the action isn't all that great. Maybe this is a C tier, man. Somewhere in the middle of C, in the middle of average anime. Full Metal Panic, never got into. It's an older anime, mech show. I couldn't care less about like the high school setup and this chick and all that stuff. I don't know if anyone would want to watch it these days either. It's like a 90s anime. Shiki, don't really know what it is. I think it's like that Hell Girl show. Just bad stuff happens to bad people, the show kind of thing. Oh wait, this says it's about a vampire? Nope, what do I know? Speed Graphers, fine. Also not B tier, maybe a C tier. It's about a guy who can kill people by taking their photos. And then he has to save some girl because some organization wants her for whatever reason. And it's fine. It's very standard, average kind of shit for its day especially. Probably not worth watching now. I don't know what working is. Something about maid girls. Last Exile is an absolute trash show. Wow, why would anyone want to watch this thing? Last Exile is so fucking stupid. It's like this dumb steampunk world. And the main character is this big baby over here who's always like whining and crying about stuff. There's maybe like one good action scene in the whole show. I remember distinctly that the armies in this show fight by having two blimps pull up next to each other, and then these blimps open a door, and then there's like a line of soldiers just facing each other, and then they shoot at each other like that. They just, with like airsoft rifles, like rifles that are being powered by, I don't know, steam engines, and they just stand in line and shoot at each other. And one of the characters in the show is like one of these soldiers. He's like, yeah, the death rate's pretty high, you know, it's like a 90% death rate. It's surprising I've lived this long. It's like, yeah, what a stupid way to fight wars. You mean you guys open up these doors, kill each other, then the blimp doors close and the blimps fly away? Like, you've achieved nothing. The blimp is still on its way. Why are you fighting like this? You don't have weapons to take out the entire blimp? That's ridiculous. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. But also, the show's just boring. Just boring. That's like 24 episodes of boring too. Future Diary's fine. I don't know if it's B tier, maybe. High C, low B. It's totally fine. Bit of a death game kind of show to become a god, which is a thing. Don't know what Genshinken is. Don't know what Emma is. Well, definitely would. Sure, I'd hate Emma, a Victorian romance. Slayer's an old ass show that I feel like no one's ever watched, but if you play Dota, this is what the character Lena is named after. This chick right here. Lena Inverse, a fire mage of some sort, I think. Akame ga Kill was a bit of a failure in anime form. The manga's okay because it looks good. I think that helps a lot. The world's okay and the power's okay. It's pretty violent in the manga as well, like pretty gruesome in the end. But I remember the anime like just not being good and also having an anime original ending, which is also not really good. Oh, and that's that. Let's see what the next one is. The next one is the 25 greatest isekai anime you should be watching. Ooh. I'm not watching this. That time I got reincarnated as a slime, I don't know. I was already a little tired of these kind of isekais. They're just like, I don't know, sounding all generic, like they're all sounded the same. Like I remember the slime one came out. Oops, I don't want this. The slime one came out, and then, like, there was the one like, oh, that time I got reincarnated as a spider, and I was like, pass on both. I've had a couple people tell me to watch this since. They tell me it gets better and it becomes like a civilization building anime, but like, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch that either. So pass on that. Rising of the Shield Hero's fine. I remember in the first part of the first season, I'm like, why is everyone such an asshole to this person? I don't understand this world, but it all kind of gets explained. Everyone's a bit an asshole because they're all dumb religious people. And they think that a hero trying to save them should be slandered for whatever stupid reason. Like, the world has rules, and they're like, the world summons heroes to you, and for some reason you think that those heroes are evil? Like, how does that religion even work? To dumb people. Overlord's fine. Overlord's decent. It's like by order. It's just like, this is the top one. You should be ranking at number 1, and then this, then this. Because I would say Overlord's kind of more interesting than both of these two shows. At least you have like the villain is the hero, is the protagonist of the show rather. And as it goes on, he starts getting more and more evil because he's an unfeeling skeleton, and that's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. No Game, No Life I haven't seen. A little bit because it looks like this, and it's an aesthetic choice, of course, but one that I'm not a fan of. So it's just hard passed on it. Yeah, this is pretty good too. Jobless Reincarnation. Jobless Reincarnation. It's pretty good. Very slow burn. So I don't know. I could recommend it, but I'd also like to see more of what happens before I would do something like that. But there's a lot of good qualities to it. Against its one big bad quality, which is that this is like a guy has like the mind of a 40-year-old, so everything he does is questionable. Becomes questionable. His actions towards women are all questionable because of that. But other than that, it's fine. I don't know what the philosopher's grandson is, but I would not watch it. In this picture, it doesn't help in trying to get me to watch it. How Not to Summon a Demon Lord looks like a harem show. Pass. I know this is some sort of comedy show, and I know people like it, but hard pass. Because I don't like them. Gate is such a wasted opportunity. Gate was so bad and generic in the end. But it had like a premise that we hadn't seen before. The premise was like, what if an army from our regular world, like US soldiers, well obviously Japanese soldiers in this case, what if they invaded like an isekai world? Like we invaded an isekai world, you know, and it could have dealt with all sorts of stuff like occupation, like us, how we occupy that world, and how kind of occupying and colonizing other countries is kind of fucked. They could have dealt with all this kind of stuff, and it sort of almost dealt with them, but then it ended up being an anime that's just like, isn't Japan great? Isn't the Japanese army like the best, most honest army in the world? Also, Well, our protagonist should probably have a harem. It's an isekai. Why wouldn't he have a harem? Oh, also the protagonist is an otaku, just like you fucking nerd. And he gets a harem, so you should like this. Fucking gay. Could have been good. Had something in its premise, but fully failed at actualizing it. Sword Art Online's fine. It's C, middle of the tier. Half of Sword Art's good, half of Sword Art's terrible. Maybe calling the half of Sword Art that's good. It's a little rough because it's like one good season, couple of mess seasons, and then it also has a couple of like awful seasons. But I think people give it a harder time than it deserves. At least the vocal people. You can see by this that like 20,000 people like it versus the 9,000 that are not a big fan. Sorry, 27,000. Log Horizon's terrible. Log Horizon is so boring. It tries to be about politics, I guess, and city building, I guess, but it's really just boring. It's just boring, and then it's like, yeah, but don't we have these cutesy characters and a cutesy fun story? And I'm like, no, this is awful and nothing happens. This is so boring. How's it over 50 episodes of boringness? How did it get that many episodes? So many other shows get like 12 max and are forced to suffer in their limited time span. Meanwhile, this show gets 50 episodes and it's garbo. Well, that's my opinion, though. In Another World, my smartphone, like, of course I'm not going to watch that. What a bad title. That title makes it sound so awful. I've actually heard good stuff about this, but I'm just not a big fan of Japanese comedy, so if comedy is the main sell, you've lost me. Also, I don't want to watch a demon lord working like a McDonald's. That does not sound interesting to me. Re:Zero's fine. Re:Zero's fine. I don't know what to say about Re:Zero. Very complicated story. Sometimes this guy's a fucking sad sack for a long time, but like sometimes sad stuff just won't stop happening to him. It's just like a maelstrom of sadness will hit him before he's able to like get out of his slump, and that kind of happens every arc. So maybe it's repetitive in that sense, but it's also a big mystery as to what the fuck anything is in this show, and that's it's a good draw to keep you going. If you're one of these people that wants all these waifus around here, then they're there for you too. Look, these ones come in two. Come in a pair. I haven't seen Saga of Tanya the Evil. I imagine it's somewhat like Overlord, but like what if Evil Man was Lolly? Because that's just an average kind of thing in anime. It's not even a surprise. Drifters is terrible. Hard disagree on Drifters. Drifters is a bunch of dudes smiling with quote-unquote creepy grins, and that's about it. Anything else that happens is like a flash of, I don't know, visual effects, kind of like old school anime used to have, like Saint Seiya. It's just like, oh, look at these visual effects, is that a cool fight? And the answer is no, that's not a cool fight. Aren't you guys supposed to be good at animes? Make a cool fight. Oh, you know what, and now I distinctly remember there was a fight against Joan of Arc, I guess, and I remember watching that fight being like, this is the worst animated fight I've ever seen. It doesn't even follow the basic rules of like cinematography, where like someone on the left that's on the left side of the screen shouldn't like teleport to the right side of the screen like mid-frame. It doesn't make any goddamn sense in like spatially where characters are if you do that kind of shit, and that was a general problem with their action scenes. It was impossible to tell like where anyone was at any moment, or what was happening, or how they dodged attacks, or what the attacks were even really doing. Drifters is bad. And hot take, Hellsing is also bad, and it's by the same guy and by the same studio and has all the same problems. I don't understand why people really like Hellsing Ultimate, honestly. Like really, like people really buy into the dumb grins. Downvote that guy. Spirited Away, yeah, sure, that's fine. Like a judge Spirited Away, like it's the same kind of isekai as all this other shit. This is a movie, it's fine. I'm not a huge fan of the Ghibli movies because I usually feel like they're more colorful than entertaining, but I do like that they're colorful, so that's good. Obviously this is not a show worth watching. Look at this. This is just like, what if all these isekai we just went through were in the same world, and Chibi and I guess probably go to school, because why wouldn't they go to high school? My Next Life is a Villainous, All Routes Lead to Doom, pass. Restaurant to Another World, pass. Recreators, hard pass. Recreators sucked in the end, man. I also disagree with people that were about Recreators. It started off kind of interesting, but in the end became like a show about telling anime fans how great they are and how great it is to be an anime fan. I was like, what is this pandering? Have cool shit happen. Have all these Isekai dudes actually fight each other. But it's like, no, 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 no. We need all the fans to be great and show their greatness because anime fans are great. I'm like, fuck anime fans. If one thing an anime fan knows is that all anime fans suck. I haven't seen Escaflowne. It's probably fine. Something about isekaiing into a fantasy world that also has mechs. Hack-Sign is goddamn awful. Literally nothing happens in Hack-Sign because the main plot is in video games. Hack is a fucking video game franchise. This is the prequel to that video game. Nothing happens in Hack-Sign. Hack Roots is the same. Hack Roots is a prequel to a video game series. Nothing fucking happens in Hack anime because they're bad and boring and not meant to be watched by themselves. I don't know what the hell Fushigi UD is. I feel like I've never even heard of it, but it looks old as shit. I've heard of this now and then here or there. I feel like I've seen it on a lot of like hipster lists that are like, yo, this is the shit, man. It's so dark and blah blah blah. So maybe it's good. Hard to say. Oh, that's it. 15 greatest final bosses in anime history ranked. This one should be fine. How can you fuck this one up? Father? Yeah, sure. Eren Yeager? Yeah, sure. Yahweh? Terrible villain. Comes out of nowhere, changes everything about the Quincy's. Now Quincy's aren't like arrow wielders. Now they can do anything. They're soul reapers. They could literally just do anything that they want. And also he completes the Ichigo's character arc of having every single power introduced into the show. He's a soul reaper. He's a hollow. He's a Quincy. He's a Fullbringer. He's probably a Bounto if you've watched that shit. He's everything. Like, Yahweh is a terrible villain. Terrible. Like, he literally comes out of nowhere, and for some reason the Quincy's are the last villains of fucking Bleach. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would they be the last villains of Bleach? It's dumb. Yeah, sure. Tomoro's fine. Vicious, yeah, he's fine. Griffith, yeah, sure. I don't know, maybe. I don't watch Gintama. He's probably fine. Knives, yeah, sure. What? Nothing wrong with Knives. He seems like the perfect guy to fight Vash. I didn't watch Assassination Classroom, so I'm gonna have to assume that this is fine. The Major, Hellsing's a terrible show, so why not? You might as well have a guy yelling his dumb head off who doesn't actually do anything as opposed to just yell dumb propaganda. He's fine enough villain. Yeah, sure. Muzan Kibutsuji. Ooh, I didn't even know that was his whole name. Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, she's fine. Sure. Ragyokyo from Kill la Kill. Sure, totally fine. Seven Deadly Sins is a terrible anime, so why not have this guy, the Demon King, be the final boss? He's not even the final boss, right? Like, there's dudes that come after the Demon King, like Chaos and shit like that. Like, even I know that. So, this list is just wrong on this one. I kind of didn't like that Acnologia was a human, but I also kind of gave up on Fairy Tail around this point, so it's probably fine. Like, they had built up Acnologia for a long time. It's fine him being like a final boss, even though he's probably not the final boss. I thought Kaguya Utsutsuki's introduction into Naruto was a kind of a mistake. Like, I don't understand why that Naruto had to involve aliens into the world. It felt like a bit of a jumping of the shark. Well, that whole part of the last Ninja arc felt like a bit of a jumping of the shark, like going a little too crazy with it. I remember making this complaint once, and someone was like, Kaguya Utsutsuki, it didn't come out of nowhere. She's a well-known, popular figure in Japanese mythology, the Moon Princess. I'm like, yeah, but what if she doesn't belong in Naruto? No, because she belongs in Naruto because the Japanese are very well of who the Princess of the Moon is. And I was like, yeah, but like, what if we just put Santa Claus in Naruto then? Santa Claus is a well-known fucking figure. Well, let's just put him in fucking Naruto. You can use Present no Jutsu. He's a well fucking known figure in Japan as well as the States and as well as a fuck ton of places in this world. Let's just put him in fucking Naruto. It's the same argument. He's a well-known figure. It's not out of nowhere. Put Santa Claus in every anime. That's what I say. But that's that. Let's go this one. 15 anime that are super dark for being a shonen series. This one should be rough. Attack on Titan? I guess. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be hard to qualify what dark is. What have they qualified it as? I don't know. tons of people die and shit in Attack on Titan. I guess that makes it dark. Tons of people die and I can't get killed too, though I don't know, maybe I'm just desensitized. I didn't feel like this was that dark. I feel like the manga gets fucking gory, because it's visually gory. But the anime, I didn't feel like it was that dark. Claymore is somewhat dark, yeah, I agree. Sure, people becoming monsters, being forced to kill other people that were just like them who became monsters, secret organizations tricking girls in to become monsters. Like, there's a whole desperation there. Also a good manga, by the way. The Claymore anime, not terrible, but the manga is where it's at for this one. Death Note, like, yeah, I guess Death Note's dark. It's like dark in conception. There's a guy fucking committing mass murder on like a daily basis and becoming a self-appointed god. Like, that is dark, though it doesn't really feel super dark. I mean, obviously it's a dark tone show. You can tell it's a picture. Like, this is how anime are trying to go for an edge look. I'm not even talking about Goth Ryuk. I'm talking about more about like the aesthetic and the color choices and like how they chose to brighten it in certain ways. And the shadows. Like, I'm talking about more of that shit. Dead Man Wonderland is, yeah, I guess it's dark. Everyone uses their own blood as a weapon. That's dark, right? That's edge, I guess. Though this is a bad anime adaptation. The manga is also fine again, has good art as well as a more reasonable storyline. I remember the anime just hard skips some characters and thus fucks up any ability to progress in the story. Though it's only really 12 episodes that didn't even necessarily try to progress in the story. But is it dark? I guess. Promised Neverland, is it dark? Yeah, sure, yeah. These kids live in a monster world full of monsters trying to fucking eat them. So that's pretty dark, and they have to use mind games to escape. Though the anime fails this too. Like, the first season of the anime is pretty good. Second season of the anime is a complete disaster. It's worth just starting to read the manga at that point. The manga isn't great at drawing action, but luckily it's more of a mind game anyway, so it doesn't need to draw a ton of action, but definitely a better manga. Future Diaries, fine. Is it dark? Yeah, it's a killing game. I guess that makes it dark. Also, she's a yandere, so, that's dark. The Grey Mat's not dark. I mean, it's a bit dark that, like, the people you love can give up their souls to the Earl to become a demon, but like it's not dark. It's just a regular shonen that never ended. I feel like the manga just never ended, but it got also confusing and weird and just super confusing. Like, the main character is also like 3 bad guys despite not being those 3 bad guys. I don't know, it's fucking weird. Hunter x Hunter's not dark. That's just a regular shonen. Just dark stuff happened in Hunter x Hunter. Yeah, people die and shit, but it's not dark. Like, people die and everything. But I doubt Black Butler's all that dark, but it could very well be. I mean, it's about this dude trying to, I don't know, fuck a 12-year-old boy. That's pretty dark. So let's just keep going. Like, this is another one. Like, is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood dark? I mean, dark stuff happens. Like, there's dogs and women and young girls being fused together. There's like the souls and blood of many individuals being used to create like monsters and shit, but like, it doesn't really feel that way. It feels like a shonen level of dark. It's like a darker show than any other shonen. Like, I don't know, it doesn't really feel like it is. Not on like the average basis. And like, this is, like I said, a show where dark shit happens. Even the way Scar kills people is kind of fucked up, but it doesn't feel that way when you're watching. Like I said, maybe I'm just desensitized. Yu Yu Hakusho's not dark at all, not even a little bit. Like, no. Like, if Yu Yu Hakusho's dark, Dragon Ball Z is dark. Yeah, fucking the Saiyans were genocided. Dragon Ball Z is dark. That's the kind of argument I feel like this show can be making. Hard disagree. Getting involved in this one. Fist of the North Star, also not dark. It's a show about kung fu dudes that kill each other, and it's the post-apocalypse for sure. And everyone's dying all the time in the show, but if you watch it, like, it's it's a very somber show. It's a very depressing show because of how slow and somber it is, but it's like not really dark. It's almost more silly than anything. And part of its silliness is the fact that it's this old, and yeah, that's just part of it. That's this old and takes itself that seriously. I wish they'd make a good version of this so much, but they've yet to make a good version of Fist of the North Star. I don't know if Cells at Work is any good. I have a hard time believing it's dark as well, but it deals with the human body. The human body's fucked up, and fucked up things can happen to it, so it's very possible. I don't know if the Ancient Magus Bride is dark. It's about this little girl being sold as a bride to this ancient fucking skeleton, so yeah, I can see that going wrong. Oh, that one's done? It's the last one, I think. Yeah, the rest is nonsense. 15 underrated dark fantasy anime you probably haven't seen. Drifters, terrible show. Went through that earlier. Rage of Bahamut. First season's fine, second season's a bit of nonsense. I barely remember what the second season is even because of it, but something weird? I can't even remember. They were trying to kill gods or something. I don't know. The second season I felt like didn't work at all, but the first season was fine. And it helps that it had a bit of a unique look to it, at least like art style wise. So that helped. Grimgar was pretty good, has a nice painterly look to it, as you can even see in this picture. Didn't get too far in its storyline, but pretty good for what it was, honestly. I'd watch more of it if it came out. Heroic Legends of Arslan is fine. It started off like it was going to be like a pretty good Kingdom type anime, or like Sengoku Basara type anime, aka medieval warfare where only really the generals matter, which is always fun to watch. It's like playing fucking Sengoku Basara the game, or what's the other game I can't remember? Dynasty Wars. It's like playing Dynasty Wars the anime. Let me read something here. Okay, done. Dorohedoro, hard to really judge. It's a very unique world and a unique art style, which isn't necessarily good, but definitely a unique world and a unique story that I would watch more if it came out more. Right now there's only like, I don't know, 12, 13 episodes of this that you really do not find out all that much about what the fuck is going on. There's a big mystery in this show. Like, this guy has a crocodile head, and he's trying to figure out how to get rid of his crocodile head, but at the same time there's all these like wizards that are created by demons, and there's like a whole different dimensions. There's a whole thing going off. Dorohedoro or Dorohedoro, I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's pretty good. I'd recommend it to like seasoned anime viewers that could see that, look at this art style and not be repulsed. Roka Braves of the Six Flowers, yeah, it's fine. A bit of a mystery show, kind of ends before anything really happens. Like, you figure out like the first mystery and then the show ends, but at the same time like nothing has been achieved by the heroes of the show, which are these people. And then like a secret missing one. So it's fine, but it needs more to be like really worth recommending to someone. As it is, it's like it's kind of ends and nothing happens. Guardians of Sinners is like 7 to 8 movies, so I feel like it shouldn't be in this list of anime, even though you can call it like an anime series with it having so many anime. I've watched like maybe 3 of them. I don't like them. I feel like it's a lot of talking and then like a small action scene and then it's done. But for other people, maybe you will like it. Maybe you'll like that it's actually fucking takes place in like the Fate Stay-averse, Fate Stay World-averse, or whatever that universe is called, because there's a few series involved in it. But yeah, takes place in the same world as Fate Stay Night. Oh, even this says it looks blah 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 Fate series. Blood Plus is fine. It's fine. Is this about dark anime? Underrated dark anime? Are these underrated? I think calling Arslan a dark anime is incorrect. In fact, Drifters, you want to call that dark? Fine, I'll accept it, even though it's not dark, it's just a stupid show. Is this dark? Absolutely not. Is this dark? I mean, no. It's isekai. It's basic isekai for the most part. Is this dark? Definitely not. Is this dark? It's like almost more weird than it is dark. I mean, like, fucked up shit happens to this. Okay, I'll let it. Yeah, sure. Doro is dark. Roka Braves is not dark. Guard of Sinners, I don't think is dark, but it is usually